New background, huh?
Yeah, I just got the construction done earlier this week. $150 to get everything.
That's not construction, bro.
Shout out to Mike Bakari for the work he did. Fantastic work. About how much, not just the backdrop, but sort of the video quality that's going on right now. I'm filming for my YouTube setup. About how much better would you say the quality of my video is than yours?
So how many times better?
Yeah.
3.
2, 1. It's the it's the Shant and Ari podcast. You guys. Episode number 61. Shant. How upset are you at me right now?
The beauty is you're gonna be here next week, so I might like snack you when you're doing this.
Good times, man. Good times. Next week, we're going to be sacrificing a baby lamb in honor of Leo.
Yeah.
It's going to be his the commencement of lionhood as we know it.
I wanna first start off before we start. I'm gonna start before we start. First of all, I want to appreciate everyone watching, listening, downloaded. You know, wherever you watch, if you watch on YouTube, just like and subscribe, right? If you listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, whatever that podcast app is, leave a 5-star review. Just click the 5 stars. If you click anything less than 5 stars, I hope your iPhone 12 camera just cracks.
Shatter.
The case just shatters. So do the right thing. Leave a little review. It'll help out. That's it.
I thought you were about to mention a word from our sponsors or something like that. So I got ready. So yeah, very, very thankful and appreciative for everybody listening. Please, like Sean said, let us know you're here. Comment, say, hey, I'm here. Anyway, so I thought I was on YouTube for a second. I was about to say, diving right in. Fun little fact. Shant, I guess, drunk texted me without actually being drunk. He was dad drunk, as in woke up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, 3 a.m. tired. I've been up.
Yeah. He texted me, it dawned on him that had Armenians had a little bit more political influence, we would be making a lot of headway in our political agendas and being able to sort of get things done a lot quicker. And we're not talking about money here, because that's, at this point, we're talking about two different things. Money can buy marketing, it can buy politicians, it can buy political influence, but having influence is a whole different new thing now. Influencer culture, quote unquote, is the next political pull that anybody could have. Sort of want to get your thoughts on this, Sean. Are you more influential by knowing politicians, or are you more influential by knowing maybe like a really popular YouTuber?
Well, before we get into that, because that's going to be the topic of the day, the U.S. election just went down.
Oh, yeah.
Did you forget? Did you forget?
Good one.
So as of right now, Joe Biden is the winner, right? I did post something the other day. I don't know if you saw it on Instagram. Did you see what I posted?
Yeah.
Yeah, about who I voted for and, blah, blah, blah. I had like a bunch of people block me.
They just don't understand. Like Trump didn't even win, and they're blocking you because you support or you supported Trump. The idea behind that message was so clear. It's like, dude, I voted for him. I'm not getting up here right now being a fucking crybaby about how Trump didn't just win again. So
Well, you didn't. Oh, you didn't see on Facebook because you're not
no.
on Facebook. So I got a lot of shit on Facebook. There, an Armenian person that I know commented. You didn't see this.
I will be in a little bit.
Well, he blocked me right after, so I couldn't even respond to him. He just scrolls off with a bunch of shit like how terrible Trump is, which is fine. Listen, I'm not a Trump supporter. I voted for him. I have my reasons. If you have any if you want to know, you could hit me up and I'll tell you. But he comments, he's like, to me, you're no different than the very people attacking Armenians, no different than Turkey. You can't support an evil dictator like Trump while pretending to care about victims. Makes you no different. And then he posted a picture of Trump and Erdogan saying, way to support the enemy, them together shaking hands. Thoughts?
So whoever this is didn't think it out well enough, I don't think. Didn't really think.
I took a picture of it so I could keep it in my photo album.
Didn't think things through very, very well, I don't think. It's tough because Trump has pictures with a lot of leaders.
Well, let me break
of the United States.
Let me break it to everyone real quick. Biden has pictures with Erdogan. Obama has pictures with Erdogan. Every leader has a picture with him. Doesn't.
Yeah.
So let's get over that because I'm an enemy to the Armenian community. But let's move past that. You thought Trump was going to win just because it's not that who you voted for. You just thought he was going to win. He hasn't won. It looks like Biden is going to win, but there's still a lot of shit happening. Have you been paying attention?
So I know that he keeps on suing different states and calling for.
I think I got sued too. I think he's suing voters too.
Yeah, you couldn't have even been there. You had work at 4. How does your ballot say 4:15? Oh, you took a break? Fuck you! I'm suing you. So it's very, very he's being very tit for tat, and he wants to make sure that everybody knows that he's not leaving without a fight. I feel like he would have done this on a third re-election. People are trying to tell him you can't get re-elected for the third time, and it's no, this is discriminating. You know what I mean? It's just very, very petty. But whatever, we got to do what we got to do. This is due process here. But the guy is. I feel like he got a lot more votes this time around, but I feel like there was a lot more voters.
Yeah, this has been one of the largest turnouts in voter history. And the funny thing is, so I think people need to understand, people saying, oh, Trump is, and I'm not trying to defend him, but people are saying, oh, he's not conceding. He's not doing this. He's not going to leave. First thing people have to understand, the media projects the winner every election, but it doesn't mean it is official. It's official in December once all the actual stuff is put in the system, verified, has to get verified. Just because CNN and Fox News said something doesn't mean it's 100%. And once it's verified, and then he has to concede. Now, why I think he hasn't conceded yet. The last time this happened was in 2000. Gore was projected the winner by all the media. And 34 days later, they did a recount and found out, oh, Bush One. Now, why I think he hasn't conceded is because I think in constitutionally, if you concede the loss, you can't attest it. You can't go to Supreme Court and saying there's anything wrong. So that's why he hasn't conceded, I think, because you can't ask for recounts if you've conceded.
Like you've accepted the
Yeah,
defeat.
which makes sense.
He's a good leader. Can we talk about this after?
He's a good leader.
He really is.
I don't think he's a good leader.
I mean, I don't want to get into a debate about like
Well, we can. It's our
me
show. He
being
could.
pseudo Armenian and whatnot, but he has a lot of confidence in what he's talking about. He believes in what he's talking about, even if it's not true. Like that whole like if I was an idiot and he was my coach and he was sending me in like negative 15-degree weather to like swim in the ocean and said like, all right, everything is going to be fine. The way that he comes off, he makes you think everything is going to be fine. But then you have a bunch of other people like Dr. Fauci and all these other like governors like, dude, this guy's a fucking moron. Don't listen to
Mhm.
him. That's what makes you end up not listening to him. But if you're like a bonehead, like a bimbo or a jock or whatever, dude, this guy is like the best coach in the world. He's like the perfect high school basketball coach. Like, just get in there and give them hell. You know, we're gonna
do,
we're gonna have the best game we ever had in the history of games anybody's ever had.
do you know? Did we talk about this? What happens if he loses?
No, I don't remember that.
Do you know he could run again in 2024?
Yeah, and there's a chance he might win. He's gonna catch everybody off guard, lazy and whatnot, and just win again.
So let's talk about leadership. And because there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now where you need good leadership, right? And we'll talk about the subject that I texted you on in a minute. So, leadership, it's hard being a leader, man. It's hard being a leader because you can't please everyone. This is my opinion. You can't please everyone. There's going to be a fraction of people who hate you for the decisions you make. There's going to be a fraction of people who love you for the decisions you make. There's going to be times where you're going to have to make decisions where it's like detrimental to people, whether you're a CEO or this or that, or a president where you're literally putting people's lives in danger, but you have to for the better of the whole. So like being a leader, man, it is not, people are like, oh, I'm a leader. Like, dude, that is not an easy task. So tell me your thoughts on leadership and like, because everyone says I'm a leader. Everyone says I want to be a leader. I want to be the boss. Dude, it's not easy.
So I had a lot of thoughts on this, and I'm so happy that you mentioned this in this way. The thought went through my mind earlier. I had an employee start to take work from underneath me, like my kitchen tickets, and started to complete work that I started, but had to pause for a second to look at something else. But they started to finish up on something that I was doing, and I was getting a little bit irritated because they I didn't ask them to finish it. And I don't know why I get irritated when somebody else starts to do something that I start, or I'm trying to quarterback the operation and somebody else is trying to do work that I didn't tell them to do. Like, I could tell somebody to do that work and I'd be completely fine with them doing it. But if they start to do it without me actually telling them I need them to start, that's when I get a little bit irritated. Now, I guess what makes a good leader is having enough trust in the people around you and building that sort of chemistry around you to the point where you could do it and not get irritated, not throw tantrums, not fire people like Trump is doing. So in terms of good leadership, I agree. he's only leading the people that don't disagree with him and follow him as if he is the leader and they are blind.
He doesn't
Now,
unite.
exactly. Exactly. Leadership in the sense that everybody else around you is doing things for the common cause. Right?
And that's a hard, first of all, we're not trying to like, that's fucking hard to be able to do. But keep going.
So in terms of good leadership, it's very, very difficult in this day and age, in the age of narcissism and loving, what you do so much or how you do things so much or your image. It's very, very difficult to become a good leader that people actually like. Now, I think that he had the potential and still does have the potential of being a good leader because he has the ability to influence and to be able to make people see things the way that he sees things. Now, it's a little bit of a catch 22 because that's how modern day dictators take the stage. A little bit of a tricky situation. And I think the whole leadership thing, when combined with, narcissism and selfishness and whatnot, it really does, it starts to complete that formula for dictatorship. Now, we got a lot of leaders that we know. Not going to dive into the Armenian issue, but we've got a lot of leaders now that we know firsthand. Like, we don't need to actually go to Google and find out who are some dictatorial leaders. We know one, Bashar Assad, Syria. We know, President Aliyev, Azerbaijan, Erdogan from Turkey, Gaddafi, the late Gaddafi from Libya.
Well, do you think Assad are you putting him as a negative?
Yeah. I don't personally have anything against him. He never killed any of my family or my people. He helped the Armenians for the most part, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have blood on his hands.
Well, I think all leaders have blood on their hands. I just don't think he's as bad as the other people you mentioned. That's why I was just.
Granted. However, he has been in charge for about 20 years now. So that does say something about the way in which he's leading the country.
Yeah, no, I get it. So, question, or if you had a point, if you're getting to something deeper, get to it. Sorry.
What I did want to mention was it's very, very difficult to become a leader. Mm-hmm. But it's very, very difficult once you've established leadership to actually leave, because people get accustomed to following. When your brain shuts off, it shuts off, bro. I think that's what, good democracies like the United States. The only issue is that good democracies like the United States, we don't have many leaders, because being a leader being a good leader at least, requires being selfless in wanting to do good for the country for very, very short-term gain for yourself, instead of, being in business and doing long-term things like, Warren Buffett. Trump did all that. He did all that. He came into leadership position having done all the selfish bullshit. Now he came in my opinion, he came in selfless, but with an agenda for his rich friends. It wasn't for him. It was for all the other people that surrounded him.
Yeah, So quick question for you, and I'll answer too. What is one? Because you're a leader. You have people, working for you, and I've, when you have clients, you're leading clients. What is one of the best qualities of you as far as leadership that you possess, and what is one of the worst that you possess?
So I'm very, very temperamental. If I say things, I don't like to have to say things again. And when I do something, or sorry, when somebody does something wrong, you correct them and then they do it again. I have a very, very short fuse. I have a very, very short temper when it comes to that stuff. So I guess that's a very negative aspect of leadership. You need everything to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Perfectionism.
Yeah.
A good quality of mine is empowerment. I put my employees in a position of more power to give them a position of respect that they deserve. I respect their, just their very being there and getting me to the place that I am at now. However, at the same time, there's a very thin line separating that and fucking up during work. So, sort of borderline dictatorial.
That's why you like all these dictators you're naming.
I'm not leading a country here. I'm leading a Middle Eastern shawarma place. So, granted, there is a little bit of
like the soup Nazi.
Right. I got a little Bashar Assad. I got a little bit of. I'm not going to say his name.
No, please don't.
Yeah. So that's sort of my operating.
Do you know the soup Nazi reference or no?
Yeah. No soup for you.
You kind of look like him right now too, so that kind of works out.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's very self-aware of you.
So yeah, I think I personally, I think I'm a good leader. I'm not the, most calm and nicest leader in the world, but I think I'm definitely a good one that employees like to be around because of my leadership qualities. That's all I got. What do you think about leadership, Shant? What are your thoughts on what makes a good leader, and are you a good leader? Because you've been a captain of a basketball team before, you've coached, you've done all sorts of things.
Yeah, so first I'll tell you about my quality that I possess, the two, good and bad. The negative quality for me, as far as me leading in positions, because I go through it, right? Because like I'm leading a project, I'm doing, like this flip. That's I'm leading, right? I have workers, this, that going on. So one thing that negatively impacts me as being a good leader is I feel bad too much. Where like if I have to fire someone, like I start thinking like, fuck, man, this person, I feel bad about it. I don't know what to do. So like I have too much empathy, and I'm not trying to like pull a reverse, like, when you're getting interviewed, and they ask you, what's your worst quality? And you're like, I'm a hardest worker. I'm not trying to say but I'm too empathetic where it's a negative when I'm trying to lead. Because it comes back to bite me. Because sometimes you have to be a little tough. The positive, one thing I'm really good at as far as the leader, I think, is it's kind of two things. It's strategizing and looking at the big picture and looking steps ahead. Just not like short-sighted, like things coming at me and I'm reacting. I try to look at everything. I try to look at every scenario, try to strategize, and I try to stay calm in the situation. Undictator-like.
if you were a president, who would you be?
Well, none of the presidents we fucking had, but
The president of France?
because Obama was a unifying kind of person. He had too much. He was too polished and said too many of the right things. I'm not. That's not me. He said too many of the right things to make us feel good. And it's like he said everything you wanted to hear. That's not me. But he was good at unifying and like spilling confidence.
Do you think that Obama was more a politician or an influencer?
So both, because I think he is a great role model. Forget about what you think of his policies. Forget about what you think of him as a president, what he didn't do, negatives, Syria. We could go down that rabbit hole, but he's a role model. So I guess influencer.
Do you think Trump is a politician or an influencer?
Well, 100% influencer. Have you seen his social media? He's a fucking he had boat parades, bro. No politicians ever had boat parades.
So I guess in the discussion about which one I guess is more important to me, who's more important to me in my circle? Is it going to be Obama or is it going to be Trump? Given their actual reputations, who would you have in your starting five? Obama or Trump, both as current, um, sorry, both as previous presidents?
It's a tough question because Obama made everyone feel good, right? He said all the right things, right? Like he was good with the words. Trump's not. Trump's sometimes an idiot too. I don't know. What do you think? That's a tough one.
All right, so I have a theory on Obama in that a lot of people liked him, but I think that in a way, liking somebody long term, it doesn't earn as much respect as it does. I guess worrying about what the guy's gonna do next. I guess Trump, the reason why he made so many headlines and got so much, just got made the election what it actually was, caused so many people to pay attention, was some of the things that he was saying. He was influencing his actual fan base.
And the other side too, in a negative way.
In a negative way. He was causing a lot of actual thought to be had about what was taking place. Obama, on the other hand, was, what's that word when magicians
Hypnotize?
Hypnotizing. Obama was hypnotizing and putting people basically to sleep. Almost to the point where a lot of people were under his spell for 8 years. That's my theory on Obama. He did a lot of great things, but internationally, he was a demon. So I do think that Trump has his good leadership qualities, but if he would definitely make it to my PR team, hands down.
Oh, PR,
before
yeah.
Obama.
Yeah. Is Biden coming off the bench or?
Fuck no, man. That guy, he gets me nervous every time he speaks. I don't know how I'm gonna watch him during like George W. Bush.
Was another one though. He was a
But the thing is, though, is that he didn't go into office already being known as the guy that you want to be worried about when he gets up to speak. Biden
and
hasn't even gotten up yet as president. We haven't found that we know already that he's something's off.
and Clinton, not Hillary, not that fucking human, but Bill has had a little like Obama in him. Like they were like both smooth, said like the right things, tried to unify. And I just remember Clinton from when I was younger. So like, I'm not trying to. I remember no part of politics as far as Bill Clinton. It's just more like how he spoke. He was just very smooth, just like Obama, smooth dude. Said all the right things, said it in the right way, said all the things you wanted to hear.
I still do think, though, that the way that they were speaking in general, had you given them what you needed them to say, they weren't gonna impact or influence the audience enough to make the audience not need to hear it from you after. If you were to give Trump whatever you needed to be said, he'd say it, and your audience wouldn't need to actually hear you say it after him. There's that about Trump. There's that aspect about his leadership.
Yeah, let's get into the influence, because this is like a good segue into how this came up.
So if you want to, Shant, if you want to run it by me, what were you saying on Saturday night? I almost didn't want to talk about it too much because I knew that we would talk about it on the podcast.
So how this came to me.
Oh.
Yeah. No, so how this came to me. So it was like 3 a.m. I've been up for a couple hours, and I had to sit next to Leo's bed. I saw that System of a Down came out with a new song, Protect Your Land or something like that, about the situation going on with Armenia. And they haven't made a song in 15 years. It's the first time they've came back together for 15 years, which is a big deal. I didn't know they were such a big rock band. Like I knew they were famous, but I didn't know like how much influence they really had. So I'm listening to the song, but I always go in the comments. I like to see what people are talking about, just for the funny stuff, except for this one, but like just in general. So I'm looking through the people are like, and I'm talking like non-Armenians are like, oh my God, you guys are back. This is the best day of our lives. Like this year's been shitty. And it's like, you guys brought the year back. And then other people are like, oh, wow, why are they back? And then people are commenting, they're back because of the situation going on. These are non-Armenians. And then there's people donating. They had a donation going. Song got released in a day ago, and they already had 100K donated from just random people, non-Armenians, right? Because people are saying, oh, I donated, man. I donated, donation from France, donation from here. And I was just like, what I've been seeing a lot in the Armenian community, which has been great. I'm not trying to downplay anything that anyone's done. What we've done, like everyone coming together, has been awesome. Some people holding protests, some people sharing the news on their Instagram stories to shed to light to their non-Armenian friends, and venting basically like what's going on. But what I realized is real, like if you want to make real impact, that's still an impact. I'm not trying to that's still an impact. But if you want to make huge impact, you have to have influence in this world from non-Armenians as well, if you're trying to like do something in the Armenian community. And where my mind went to was like, if I was a big time real estate developer in the country and I hung out with the Trumps of the world, if I had that type of influence right now, I'd be calling Trump if I had that influence. Like, hey man, like we've we play in the same field, da, 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 I need your help. That's how change, I think, really comes about, when you have influence within political people, not from just money, because Armenians, we have a lot of Armenians who have money. We could shell out money, but that influence, relationships, to get into to the table. Me and Betty were talking about this, like the whole Armenia thing. How come no one's helping us? Right? How do we get to the table that everyone plays at? Who could get there? Like, how do you do it? You have to have power. You have to have influence. It's not just money. It's not just, that's the thing that was running through my mind at 3:00 at night. And I don't know if I was just overtired, but what are your thoughts? I threw a lot at you.
No, you nailed everything down. You painted such a good picture of what the influencer is, who the person is, and let's use a very, very good example here. It's Kim Kardashian, right? She could donate $1 million or $10 million, but $10 million is not going to be the same as her actively putting on her Instagram, hey guys, this is what's happening in Armenia. It's almost like that to us, I think, was worth more than $1 million or $5 or $10 million. That alone was worth $10 million to us.
Or if she was able to put a little bit more pressure, and I'm not saying she didn't, she could have. I'm not trying to knock anyone, man, because she sure as hell did more than I did. If she or someone like her had the power to call up Fox News, CNN, hey, you guys got to have me on. She's a select, like she has the influence to do that. And then now you're on mainstream media. Now it's like, that's how you make real change. Now you still need the other stuff. Right? Because everyone's got to do their little part within what they could do, right? But I'm talking like just what hit me. Because I always try to go for like fucking.
So I guess modern day ways, not you're a celebrity and this is how you became an influencer, not even like D-list. I don't mean to call him D-list either. He's such a good guy. Patrick Bet David, like that sort of power influence. But like, what are some of the?
He was in talks, and we will touch on this in another day. But he was in talks recently to interview. He was going to fly to Armenia, interview the prime minister of Armenia. It was close to happening until recent events. But speaking of Patrick Bet David, it was interesting because I see a lot of Armenians posting stuff, sharing information, right? This is the difference between what I mean by influence. You're sharing information, right, on what's going on in our stuff. I'm sharing information. This person's sharing information. The real influencer, when they speak, so like when I heard Patrick Bet David made a 20-minute clip about the situation, I went to go see what he's going to say about it, because he has influence, right? So like, think about this. When you're on social media, are you going to someone's page just to see what's going on, like what they're sharing? Or are you going to look at what their thoughts are? Because they have influence, right? Like anything for the next 4 years, right? For the next 4 years, when something major happens in U.S. news, people are going to go to Trump's page to see what he's thinking and what he's saying.
Right.
That's influence.
That is definitely, without a doubt, influence. And I think it's very, very important to have that kind of a thing about you, even if you're not a millionaire, even if you're not like that guy from CNN, Cuomo, right? He's got more influence than, say, some of the other reporters in his same field. Yeah. Like maybe like he has more influence than, say, like Anderson Cooper. You know what I mean? It's just having that thing about you, even if you're not a millionaire, or even if you don't have sort of political status, but you're just respected. Your opinion, like you said, is respected or regarded in such a high manner. We need that. I think that that's at this point in time, that's probably one of the most important things you could have is having a reputation, um, that when you talk about something or share a particular bit of information, that it gets widely disseminated because of what people feel about it immediately after you share it. I think that you definitely you came to a really really good conclusion that night, that we as Armenians, or we as whoever you are, in order to succeed, yes, money is an important way to get power, but ultimately, power as defined is very very important for your success. To get
Mhm.
money, to get whatever you're aiming to get, but definitely political influence is a lot easier attained now than it was before. You just
Yeah.
got to be a little bit smart, I think, or
Who
have some sort of
right
intelligence.
who right now, and not in a negative way, but who right now has influence over you in any field, anything where it's like anything going on, you're going to see what they're saying, what they're talking about. It could be anything, car related, it could be business, it could be political, it could be Armenia, it could be food. Who is the like person you go to see what they're saying?
The Weekend.
Are you serious?
Yeah. The Weekend brought it to my attention that there's a genocide happening in Ethiopia. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar or not, Shant, but Armenians and Ethiopians share a lot in common.
You know, my business partner is Ethiopian.
That's crazy because if you ask him, did you know where your uh, alphabet comes from? He might tell you, yeah, came from Armenia.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So, Americ, I believe, is comes from Armenian, but we have a lot in common. Like we wrote their national anthem back in the early 1900s, their first national anthem. We did a lot for them, and we also share genocide and Christianity in common. So,
Is the weekend Ethiopian?
yeah.
Oh wow.
So
Huh.
I have a lot in common with somebody that he influenced me very very early in his career. He influenced a lot of people. The way that he rose to fame was not by just by talent, but by verbal influence. These are either thoughts or emotions or experiences that he shared with the rest of the world that that gave him the power that he has now. I think that smart people, Armenian or not, instead of investing so much time and energy into in privately sharing their knowledge, if they invested some of it in sharing it publicly. Let me give you a particular example. You have a real estate developer, your typical Armenian guy, real estate developer, contractor, knows a lot about the work, knows the ins and outs. He's made millions of dollars doing it. Hasn't said or given one sort of informational bit or post or anything like that on social media to try and help somebody else do it. He
To
hasn't
be the
helped any
voice,
other, huh?
to be the voice, to be the
Right. So like how do you expect anybody to find out about you? How do you expect to have any sort of influence on anybody if you're going to keep to yourself? Just a
yeah.
thought.
It's true, man. Influence. They used to say back in the day, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Now I think it's who you know, how many people know you or are influenced by you. I
100%.
just came up with that, by
100%.
the way.
Trademark, Shant. It's not how many people you
It's
know,
not
it's
who
how
knows.
many.
Yeah, yeah.
We already fucked it up.
It's not who you know, it's how many people you.
It's not who you know, it's how many people know you. Trademark, Ari John Esan with two S's.
It's
Fun
crazy,
little,
man.
fun little conversation about influence, political dominance, and what sort of what leadership really means to me. Um, I don't know. I don't know if I have anything else to really say tonight.
It's hard to be a leader, man. It's hard to have influence. It's fucking hard to do anything. Um, how about last week's episode? If you guys haven't checked it out, man, go back to last week's episode. It was good. Just
Nairi,
listen. Yeah.
fun
Hopefully she's got some.
conversation with Nairi.
Hopefully she's got some influence. She could pass it along here a little bit.
That wouldn't be a bad thing. Talks over cocktails podcast. For those of you who want to become influenced by us. Yeah.
That's all I got, man. I think we got a fun couple of weeks ahead. We'll keep everyone posted with what we feel is going to happen. Chances Trump pulls off this voter fraud allegation. 0 to 100. What's your percentage?
71.
71%, doubling down on your fiction, huh? Like you're just hoping.
Anything is possible with this man.
So anything possible is that's not 70%.
All right, so I take it back. 63%.
Oh, jeez. I give it 10% chance.
You really think? But I think so too. I think it's just a matter of just how much of a pain in the ass he's gonna be. Because like he has time, he has money, and he has the balls. So
Yeah, like are they going to evict them? Like is it my
you have
friend
to leave.
my friend who hates Trump, he had the best. He had a status post on Facebook. He said, does the forbearance on evictions apply to Trump in the White House?
That's good.
Does he get an extra couple of months with this forbearance?
That's a good one. That is a good one.
Hacking, shout out to you, man. That shit was funny. That was funny.
Oh. All right. See you in a few days, Shant.
All right. Well, good night.
Good night.